What's going on, everyone? So this Damian Lillard Portland situation has dragged on probably longer than anyone thought it would. The idea was that, hey, it's time. Damian Lillard requests the trade. They weren't able to go and make any big moves this offseason. They weren't able to trade, the draft pick that led to Scoot Henderson or anything like that. Everyone knew, including Portland, that Damian Lillard was going to request a trade. And many thought it would be pretty straightforward. He requests this trade. They work it out, it'd be done, they can move on, and all the teams involved could figure it out, right? Maybe it took a little while to kind of work here and work there, and yet we are now 3 weeks away from training camp, and so far, nothing. Now, there were recent reports that Damian Lillard, word was that he wouldn't report to any other camps if he was traded anywhere other than Miami, but since then, we've gotten several just reports, especially from Oregon, like a lot of the Oregon reporters and stuff have came out and said no, that's not true. None of that's true. Damian Lillard will report wherever he needs to report, which to me, when I saw those initial reports, didn't really make sense to me. Now, obviously that information's coming from somewhere, right? Which very likely, who does that benefit the most, right? That information being out there. The Miami Heat. Right? If Miami puts that out there, that, hey, Damian Lillard's going to do this, right? Whenever there's news, whenever you hear these reports, you got to think, who does this benefit? Because those kind of reports don't really benefit Damian Lillard, right? But they benefit Miami a lot because now it kind of paints this picture of oh, here it goes. See, all offseason it's been Miami. That's it. It's only Miami. If he doesn't go to Miami, he's not going to be happy. You don't want to trade for him. And it keeps Miami in the driver's seat. But there also have been countless reports that Portland is fully okay and committed to sticking it out with Damian Lillard if need be. But recent reports came out, and recent as in yesterday and the day before, that Damian Lillard and any potential trade with Miami or various teams are expected to start picking up because they are moving closer to training camp. And now you're starting to get the pressure. Right? You have the Miami Heat, you have the players and the coaches and everything like that are going hey, we need to start putting a game plan together. We need to start putting everything in order so that way we can get ready and kind of map out this season. We need to figure out, what does our rotation look like? What does our starters look like? Obviously training camp, you're going to work out some of those things and a guy might emerge and take over the starting position or whatever, but they need to know, is Dame going to be on this roster or not, right? Portland, they still need to figure out things with their roster. Are they adding anybody? Are they cutting anybody, right? Are they trying to move some other pieces? What are we doing here? How is this going to work out, right? We need to know, as a head coach, you need to know who's going to be on your team. How are you supposed to have any direction or any idea of what's to come or how you want to structure this season if you don't know which guys are going to be on your roster or not, right? And same thing from a team like Miami. Now, obviously, Miami wants Damian Lillard, and they're the ones that kind of seem to be in the driver's seat here a little bit. They got to work some stuff up, and the Kevin Porter Jr. thing may actually help in that regard, right? Because Houston is willing to take on assets just to unload him, and he's got a $15 million salary. So could they work something out, in a multi-team deal to where maybe they could convince to take on Kevin Porter Jr. on a buyout, kind of waive him, especially a team like Portland, right? Maybe you get that, but you also get a first attached. So it's yeah, you're going to get Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah, you're going to have to buy him out, but you're getting an extra first-round pick on top of it, and we can work it out. We'll even take Nurkic. You don't want Tyler Hero. Maybe Tyler Hero's going to a team like Houston, right? And they're willing to give up a first or maybe two firsts, obviously protected or something like that, or maybe a first a couple seconds. Again, just throwing an idea. New just things have emerged that could maybe help in that regard. But regardless, Miami's going to have to figure it out. All the talk, even from Portland's insiders and stuff like that, is that, Portland has failed to just negotiate in good faith and have real conversations. and kind of give an idea of what they want, what they're looking for, which is absolutely frustrating. But Miami's also got to be able to put enticing packages together. They have to have some idea, and they need to also put on their end the work in to kind of make it work, make it figure out. But at some point, you think within the next like week or two, right? Because I don't think it goes all the way up to like media day. All right, my guess is that within the next week or two, we'll know, all right, is Dame going to Miami or is he going to be staying with Portland? Because, again, like, at what point does Miami just say, all right, like, we got to go get ready for the season. We were just in the conference finals, right? Like, we need to start structuring our season. And if something comes up on the horizon with Damian Lillard later on down the road, then we'll figure it out then, right? Maybe come the trade deadline, maybe things like are opened up more. Maybe there's more options, right? Maybe teams are willing to deal a little more, and maybe we could unload a Tyler Hero or something like that. Or maybe there's, an injury somewhere where somebody needs another scorer, and it's like, okay, well, we can flip Hero into a first, and then that could lead into Damian Lillard, right? At some point, Miami is going to have to just say, you know what, we're done here for now, right? Like, we want Dame. We love Dame. It'd be great to have him, but it's looking like it's becoming one of those things where, all right, like, it's not going to happen, right? I do expect in the next, like, week or two, though, we really start getting heavy. Just a lot of it's going to be speculation, but I mean, everything's speculation until it's finished, right? Everything you hear is just rumors and speculation until it's actually finalized and done, right? But I expect this to really start kind of heating up and picking up, because I mean, even like a month ago, there were talks about how, once they got within like a week or two of training camp, that's when they would start really taking this serious. And again, Portland, to be fair, I don't think it's in their best interest, but Portland, they're in the driver's seat, right? They don't have to trade Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard isn't going to not show up to training camp. Like, he's not going to do all that stuff. He's a professional. He's not going to want to burn his bridges and stuff like that. And the sad thing is that Portland knows that. Portland's aware of that, right? And it's like, from a player perspective, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Like, if he's doing what James Harden's doing and, throwing the organization under the bus and doing all this stuff and just throwing temper tantrums, then he's the bad guy, and he looks like he's, just reckless and just, like just a bad player and a bad locker room guy, right? And you see that, though, and it's like more times than not, those are the guys that get traded. Like, Ben Simmons did it worked, right? Kyrie did it worked, right? But then you look at guys like Kevin Durant, like, he kind of got screwed. I mean, he eventually ended up where he wanted to go, but like, he had to kind of deal with all the nonsense and all the noise and them not trading him and stuff. But there was at least communication. The problem with Portland is there's no communication, or at least that's what it seems like, right? Like, no one really seems to know what is going on. And all these teams that have talked and engaged in Portland have all said, like, dude, we don't know, like, what's going on. Like, we don't know what they want. We don't know what the idea is. Are they trading them? Are they not? Like, what are we doing here? Right? And I just think Portland is just really, they're making themselves look bad. I get Portland has never really been a free agent destination, but the last, 15 plus years, Portland has never really been in a position to be a free agent destination, right? They've always overpaid for guys, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, like guys like that. They've always overpaid. They had just unfortunate things, like where you go get Brandon Roy and you go get Greg Oden and stuff, and it's like, all right, like this is it. Like, they're going to be a contender in the next few years, and then injuries happen and then they're out the league. Like, there's just been this just dark cloud in a lot of ways, but also poor decision making. And now you have a real opportunity here, and it's like, it would be nice to have Damian Lillard in your corner, right? Like, when let's say Scoot Henderson becomes everything that he's projected to be, right? and some of the other guys really just blossom and grow, and they really, let's say Portland is a top 3 to 4 team in the Western Conference. And, they're good on both sides of the basketball. They're dynamic. They're young. Like, everything's looking really good. You don't think that some star is going to be like, man, I'm the missing piece, right? You don't think some guy is going to be like, hey, man, like, if I go there, we could really make some noise, right? Like, we could really maybe win this chip here, right? Like, but they got to put themselves in that position. And it would be nice to have Damian Lillard batting for you and in your corner, because what's going to happen if that guy becomes available, right? Like, what happens if, and I'm just using this as an example. It's just the name that came to my head. Don't take this crazy, okay? Just an example. Let's say 3 years from now, 4 years from now, Portland's really good and Tatum becomes available. Tatum and Dame have a really good relationship. Dame's, on his way out. Hey, dude, it'd be nice. Go to Portland, man. Like, look at you, Scoot Henderson, Sharp. Like you guys would be really good, right? Like, they're already a top team. You're the piece that puts them over. Or let's say he is looking at that and going, man, like, me there, like, I kind of feel like I'd be the missing component, I'd be the missing piece. And he hits up Dame. Do you want Damian Lillard to be like, dude, don't do it? Like, look what they did to me. Look at, like, if at any point you want out or things aren't going well or whatever, what's going to happen, right? Like, you don't want that. And you're setting a bad precedent for your up-and-coming guys. Like Scoot Henderson, if Scoot Henderson becomes something, and he really does become that guy, right? Like, you don't think he's paying attention? Like, do I really want to stay? Do I really want to be here in Portland long term when this is the way that they're going to treat me if I ever want out? Right? Like, again, whether Portland is right or wrong for doing this, it's about perception. Damian Lillard has been the face of the franchise for, 12 years or whatever it is, right? He's been the most loyal guy, arguably, in the league, right? Like, and now you're painting this bad representation for what? Just to say, like, haha, like, we're in charge, we're in control. To me, it's just ego, right? I'm not saying you just give Dame away. I'm not saying you trade Damian Lillard for, Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry or something like that. But Portland could be doing a lot more to try to get this going. Portland could be doing a lot more to try to, like, hey, this is what we want, right? We want, Jacquez, we want, Hightower, we want these handful of guys. We want all your young guys, right? And then we want you to turn Tyler Hero into a first round pick and give us all your firsts, right? And we'll do the trade. If you have to work out a third team, whatever. Like, but there doesn't seem to be that communication, and that's the problem. But hopefully, with this news, things start picking up, there is communication, and hopefully a deal can get done for all parties. Portland, Miami, and Dame, or if he goes elsewhere, right? Does some other team come in and swoop him up? It's not out of the realm of possibility, right? We saw that with Donovan Mitchell. But at some point, things need to break. But anyway, again, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited for this? Like, maybe things will start progressing in the right direction? Are you not? Have you feel what your thoughts are? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.